Hello and welcome to Sidequest. This is our weekly video game show here at Geekverse. I'm your host, Dilmus, and I have with me the parlor trickster, Kirklin Patzer. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very good. Nothing out of the ordinary to update you on, and no, I'm doing pretty good. Mid-April already, and
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, this is gonna be a fun episode of Sidequest. Mostly games we've been playing episode, which are always my favorite when we just are just overflowing with games sauce that we've been rocking through. We're gonna talk a little bit about Switch 2, get Kirkland's impressions on that bad boy. Little mystery segment as well, and then just a couple quick things. Last week's episode was a bit. I'm trying to think, was it late or I guess it was early because we wanted to cover the Switch 2 thing. Next week's episode is going to be late because we have Easter here and there's all sorts of things getting thrown amok, but you'll probably get the episode on Thursday instead of the usual Tuesday. So be mindful of that. That's why you got to subscribe, because then as soon as it's out there, it hits your feed, it hits your Spotify in the morning before you get in the car to drive to work. You can hit download and listen to it on the way in. And then you can also go to Patreon to get episodes early and ad-free. And man, on the feed right now, it's just like TV show city. We got Sinners coming out in movie land, but we're finishing up Daredevil, and we're starting up Last of Us is on right now. So for the gamers out there, go check out our weekly reviews of Last of Us, which we're doing Sunday nights. We'll see about this week, just because of, once again, Easter and all that. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. I think that's kind of all the shout outs here at the opening. Kirk, you know what it's time for?
What time is it?
If I say that, Razor goes for his glass of water. Kirkland, it is time for another pop quiz.
Oh,
okay. I don't like to prep you guys on this. I want it to be off the cuff, off the dome. Last time we did this, I quizzed you and Taylor about Pokemon, the original 150,
yes.
and then I quizzed Taylor again on another episode, more Pokemon. But I got a different one for you because I think you're a Gen 1 guy. You're like me. Like I think you could get some other Pokemon, but like that's not what we're here for. So I got another fun one here for you, and we're gonna see how you can do with this. Here's the quiz. Name every single Mortal Kombat character.
Ooh.
How well do you think, before you say any, how well do you think you're going to do at this?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Like,
to my count, there's 72 characters overall on this list.
Like on the modern games. So like basically every character that's ever been in there.
I guess so. Yeah.
Even like DLCs,
I didn't fact check this. I don't know these
RoboCop
characters
and stuff like that.
There is a guest characters DLC column here, so I don't know. I think it takes them from all the different games and dumps them in there. So there's a little organization of the website I found here.
Yeah.
So I don't know how accurate it is either, so we'll see. It might be off because I can't fact check this stuff because I don't know these characters super well. But yeah, I don't know. I'll throw you 15, 20 minutes, whatever, see how you do.
Let's try.
Fucking go ahead whenever you
I love me
start
some Mortal
here.
Kombat, so I hope I can do decent here. Okay, I'll just start off with just probably the most iconic ones with Sub-Zero, Scorpion, get the big heavy hitters out of the way, Raiden. So it's like any character that's been playable, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, sorry. I believe it is playable characters, yeah.
So then I would also take Jade would be in there, Melina, Katana.
How do you spell Melina? Melina.
Mileena, I believe.
Yep.
Okay, we got Kano, not Baraka, not Obama. We got Goro. We've got...
Love my man Goro.
Jax? I think that's his name. The gentleman with the metal arms. You might have to fact check me
you
on
got
that
him.
one.
Mortal Kombat 2. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. We have Smoke. We have Johnny Cage, of course.
Okay.
Sonya Blade.
Sonya Blade. You almost got all the originals. You have two more of the OGs that you haven't.
Two more of the OGs. Okay. Oh, I should have just like stuck to the early versions because I feel like I'm crossing over into the later versions and it's missing over with me.
It's all good.
I can't remember Johnny Cage's daughter. She was the more.
I'm not gonna lie. When I
ones.
typed in Cage, it did pop up. So technically, on my list, you've already got it. But if you can remember, that's a bonus. I'll say.
Well, I said Johnny Cage, and then there's also. It's not Jackie. No, I think Jackie is actually a character. That would be Jax's daughter.
Yeah. How do you spell that, Jackie? Because I feel like that is familiar to me. Jackie, MK.
You got
Oh, Jackie, like the French sort of way.
I think
Okay, you got Jackie.
I
Jackie
think
Briggs.
it's Garrett or Garrus or Girus. It's like Geras. It was a newer character. Girus. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah, how do you spell that one? Yeah, you got it. Girus.
Okay,
from,
nice.
from 11. Yeah.
Okay, we've got Shao Kahn. I don't think I've said him yet.
Shao Kahn.
Oh man, I feel like there's some really easy ones that are just fleeting my mind right now.
Yeah, well, are you trying to hit the early ones before you move on? Because I feel like there's probably other ones that you could rifle, but you're trying to be a little organized, I think.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think early, and then just some random ones are popping in my head, so I want to get them on the board.
You only got
also.
3 blanks on Mortal Kombat 2 as well. So these two early games, you're
Okay.
absolutely crushing it. You're already 90%.
Sindel, I don't think she's in the first 2 games. I think she became playable a little bit later.
Sindel, she's in 3. There you go.
3, okay. Noob Saibot. I don't think that's a first game one. That might be a second one.
He was in the sequel, yeah, number 2.
Okay, what else do we got here? Chameleon. I haven't said him. Did I already say Smoke? I think I said Smoke already.
You did say Smoke, yeah.
I didn't say Rain. That's a
Rain.
newer character.
Rain's in there.
Scarlet. That's a newer one also.
Okay. Oh, that was the only one from Mortal Kombat 2011. Apparently, the only new character. That seems crazy. Maybe there's a bunch of guest characters or something. But
yeah. There's a couple like female characters that I know I'm missing of. Oh man. Maybe I'll start just rifling off some random guest appearance ones. Okay, I know the Xenomorph was in there because you and I were laughing about the just the body type of that character. Then we have Rambo was in one of them.
Okay, yeah.
We've had the Joker was in one of them.
Oh, nice.
Who else did we have in there? Oh, I didn't say Shang Tsung either. That's a popular one. Shang Tsung?
Shang Tsung.
Something like that.
Yeah, Googling that spelling, but you got it. Yeah. Oh, that was an OG game once. And I only have 2 more from the original to get.
Okay.
But you got more guest characters in you? Just off the cuff?
Yeah, so like RoboCop. The thing is, I never play the guest ones, so I feel like the ones that come to my mind are the ones that I've really like spent time playing with. RoboCop.
Can you think of any from 1? We talked about some of these recently.
Like the first game or like MK1?
From like the most recent game that came out.
Oh, okay.
Remember some of those DLC?
Oh man, I'm thinking of like the 2 main guys. I'm forgetting. Oh my god. Liu Kang? Did I say Liu Kang? I didn't say Liu Kang, did I?
I don't think you have. Liu Kang.
Then I'm like, fuck, what is the main guy's name? The guy that's like a Jackie Chan ripoff with the fire attacks.
Oh, Liu Kang is an OG from the first game as well, actually.
Yeah. The guy with the hat.
Right, okay, yeah.
Wow. People listening to this are probably just yelling at me. I can't.
You've already got 28 out of this. So that's like pretty solid, I would say.
It's decent.
You've already got like a third of the list, I feel like, just off the dome. And you probably haven't thought about Mortal Kombat in a few months.
I haven't.
Not top of mind.
I'm sad because I was looking at the calendar. I'm going to be missing that movie release. I'm going to be in Japan, but maybe I'll watch it in Japan. I'll watch the Japanese version. But oh man,
I feel like you're missing some of these easy DLC characters, like from the most recent game. Like really iconic, crazy crossover characters that they did. It's like I feel the fact that I know some of these off the top of my head and you don't is weird to me because you own the game.
Maybe okay. They added like Homelander. That's right. Omni-Man was in there.
Yes. There you go.
Good reminder.
Who was the other?
DLC.
Do you remember? There was another. There may be more, but there's at least a third like big crossover one. I thought you almost said it earlier, but then you didn't. but I could be wrong.
Yeah,
Don't let me lead you
just
astray.
blanking on that third one
Okay.
right now. Frost, I didn't say. That's a newer character.
Frost?
She was in MK11, I think. What else do we got? There's a couple of like the god characters that I like never played that I don't remember at all. Is Kronos? No, Chronica. I think that's her name. She's like the main villain of MK11. So she's playable like after you beat the game, I believe. Maybe that's not actually her name, but it's something close.
Oh,
to
it's
that.
just, of course, it's spelled with a K. That's where I was spelling it wrong.
Yeah. The bug lady, I can't remember her name. It's like Devra or something like that. Devora?
Weirdly, Chronica is not on this. Was she a playable character?
I thought so, but maybe not. Maybe she was only the villain. Maybe I'm misremembering that. But Devora?
I'll give you a bonus point.
Is that her name?
Oh,
The
that
bug
sounds
lady?
familiar. Yep, you got that. Devora.
Okay, nice.
I like that one. I completely butchered the spelling, but it knew what I was trying to say, and it filled it in anyway. That's good. Devora's later edition than I thought. I thought she was an earlier character, but came on X.
No, I think she came out with like the new like era of it when it came out on.
Okay.
It wasn't 360. I think it was a little bit later than that. Oh man, this is gonna bug me. Just some big ones that I'm missing. Yeah, I've already said those ones.
How about some? Do you want me to try and jog some thoughts here? Or are you in a little?
Yes,
I don't want to
please.
interrupt your. Okay. How about any like iconic weapon wielders? Like, would that help? Does that bring anything to mind?
Ooh. Big weapon wielders. The thing is, like, their weapons are like so varied in the franchise. Like, some people have just like a full-on pistol. Some people have a nice katana.
How about this? Can you think of anyone that we've played in our recent streams, like in our duels against each other, like a Saris character or a Travis character or a Taylor character?
Oh.
I don't remember the names of any of the characters I like. I remember their pictures, but I think you've mentioned most of them. But like, I feel like there's maybe one or two that didn't get brought up. Can you think of other variant characters? I think there's a lot of those in these games, right? Where there's like two guys that look the same, but there's like a blue and a red version.
Right. There's like Cyrax. That's one of them, like the robot character. And then there's another like Cyrax equivalent, but I can't remember their name.
Cyrax, nice.
There's like the female Goro, but I can't remember her. She's kind of like a centaur character, but I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah, she's cool. Just Googled her using your description, so everything but the name on that one. Who were your favorite cameos in Mortal Kombat 1? Any of those playable at one point in time?
That's a good.
I feel like Frost was the one we'd use a lot in the streams. Those ice powers.
Man, I'm really blanking on these these memorable faces.
Okay, let me hit you from a different way. So right now, Mortal Kombat 1 and 2, you're crushing it. You got all but 3 across those 2 games. Mortal Kombat 3, you have a few in there. You don't have any from Mortal Kombat 4, which I don't think you really played that one, like, or owned that one, right? Because you kind of played the first couple and then kind of came back to the series later, right?
Yeah.
Can you think of anyone from like Deadly Alliance or Deception? I didn't even know these were games until right now. And then there's apparently a game called Armageddon that had 3 new characters in there.
I did play Armageddon.
Okay. Any big newcomers in Armageddon that come to mind?
Armageddon is like a blank spot for me because I remember that one you like played as an original character, like someone that wasn't in the franchise, like for the story mode at least.
Okay.
And then you would fight like the other characters. Man. Okay.
Is there anyone that appears in the movies that you can think of? I don't know what's gonna help unlock. I know there's these pathways.
The Kanos of the world are just like overpopulated in my mind. I'm trying to think of like certain movie characters. Man, I have not revisited that movie either. That's a damn shame. I'm trying to think of like there's a bunch of characters I can picture, but I just can't for the life of me like put a name to their face. Like
Right.
Raiden's brother. I think it starts with an F, but like he's like the god of the wind. He's a playable character in the last 2 games, but I can't picture his name at all. Yeah, no, I already said those names. And then there's like the newer characters from MK1 that I can picture like 4 of them, but I just can't picture their names. They're just like generic warrior dude.
Right.
There's the undead dude. I feel like his name's like Havoc or something like that, but maybe I'm wrong.
Havoc, the X-Men character. Oh, Havoc.
Oh,
Havoc
nice.
from Mortal Kombat Deception. So there you go.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Havoc.
Just start saying some random names, then maybe
Pretty
I'll get
much,
some.
eh?
I feel like there's like a Strider in there. That's like some like,
Strider?
random
Let's
white
try it.
police guy.
No Strider.
Strider or Striker, maybe. I don't know.
Striker? I'll try that. Striker! Striker from Mortal Kombat
Nice.
3.
They definitely have original characters, but man, they certainly have some basic.
Oh,
names.
I remember Curtis Striker. What's his first name's Curtis.
I think he's like a cameo in the latest one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Is that the guy that we always say looks like Clay? His, little blonde hair, yeah.
100%. Okay, come on now. Dig deep. I already said them. Yeah, I said Shao Kahn, and there's General Khan, which is the same character, different name. I'm not gonna get points for that one though.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think they have like multiple of the same characters in here.
Yeah, I already said Chameleon. Is Reptile one?
Reptile.
I feel like that's just the
Reptile. That was the
chameleon
last character from the original Mortal Kombat. There you go. So
Okay,
now you've
nice.
cleared the original game.
Nice.
Nice job.
Okay.
Nice job.
That makes me feel good. I at least
That's
finished
good.
one of them.
That's a good milestone.
And I never ended up getting like the main guy, right? Like the Jackie Chan equivalent. Like that one's still blank.
I don't have images here on this, so I don't know.
Yeah. He's like the cover of MK1 because they made him like the new god of fire and lightning because he takes Raiden's powers.
Oh, that guy. Right. Yeah, I don't remember what his name is.
Yeah, that's a big one that I'm missing then. He's like the protagonist for like the most of the franchise. Oh man.
You've done pretty good. Do you how
sad.
much more do you want to go here? Do you want to kind of
I just
throw
feel
in that towel for
saturated
today?
in my memory bank here. Yeah. Maybe I'll just call it there. Maybe. What am I at for time? That's
Sure.
10 minutes or so.
Yeah. Okay, so you got 36 out of 92. Okay, there was way more than I thought.
Oh my
there was, actually.
gosh.
36 out of 92. So about 30-40%. That's not bad though, considering that you didn't really like play half these
there's
games
so many
a whole
characters in this franchise.
lot.
That's
Let me
insane.
screen share here, and you can take a look at
Okay.
the freaks that you missed. Well, I guess here, looking at this, like, does this help you at all? This kind of has like your chart of like characters per game. I'm guessing the guest characters is by like release date, so I don't know if there's like other ones that would help you get, but
Johnny Cage. Where is that guy? Who am I missing? He's not even on there.
from who? From what?
Like the cover of MK1, like that character.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone was technically new in one, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good.
I think that might be because like the
point.
guest characters they dump over here, but I don't think there was actually any like technically new characters in one because it seemed like a lot of them were kind of like since it was a bit of a reboot, right? It was like old
Right.
characters brought back. So I think some of them like whatever that guy is, right? He's like a reincarnation of someone, right?
Yeah, he's like the same character. He just has different.
As Liu
moveset,
Kang?
essentially. No, Liu Kang's the guy with the hat.
Okay. Well, whoever is a reincarnation of, like maybe they just only have that original guy on here or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's weird. They have like
Weird.
Homelander, which is like came out a few months ago. So like it is updated-ish, but it's kind of weird. Okay, I'll hit the give up button and I'll fill in the blanks.
Okay, yeah, sure. Kung Lao.
Right.
There you go. Kung Lao. Come
Kung
on now.
Lao, that was the one.
Kentaro. Okay, Fujin. That's.
I think
Raiden's
you
brother,
said
that's what I was
chameleon,
thinking
so
of.
maybe I didn't type that in. But anyway.
Well, there's
so-
two chameleons on there. There's one with a K and one with a C.
Oh, and I assumed it was spelled with a K.
Okay,
As one
Cabal.
does.
That's one I should have knew.
Shiva, that was that's the
Shiva,
female Goro.
Yeah, Sector, that's like the other Cyrax essentially. Wow, yeah, MK4 I was terrible on.
Right. Meat.
Right.
Who's Mortal Kombat Meat? Let me look that up. Meat. Oh my god, this guy is just like
what a freak.
a blood bag. Pretty much.
Just a blood bag there. Okay, let's.
I feel like Aaron Black, he's kind of around most of the
Yeah,
time.
he's like the gunslinger guy. That's right.
Kratos, I forgot Kratos was a DLC character.
Wow,
That's pretty
I didn't
cool.
even know that. Jason Voorhees, Predator.
I really thought you get Peacemaker.
Oh yeah. Sad
And
about that
Ghostface, I
one.
thought that was an old one. I forgot that was one of the last.
I
new
thought it was an
character.
older one as well, but I
Yeah.
completely blanked on it. Spawn, I should have knew. That was a new iconic one. Terminator, even. Not too sad. I forgot about like the big horror icons. I kind of
Right.
just because I never like play those characters, so I kind of just.
And
forget
you'll
to
usually have
put
to
it
like
in
pay
there.
for them, so maybe you don't have them in your version or something. you know?
Yeah, Collector. That's a good one. That's a cool, unique character.
I remember. Yeah, I did download
Um,
11, and I was trying Collector out at one point.
What else do we got here? Honestly, like a lot of these, I probably wouldn't have gotten. So like,
Yeah.
there's not
middle.
too many on here that I'm really upset that I forgot about, other than
Mhm.
the Peacemakers, of the world.
Yeah.
But
I think
yeah,
you did good, man. Like
I could definitely see like the gaps in like what I've played though.
Yeah.
Like MK4, yeah, Deception. Looking at this, I still don't even really recognize those characters at all. But nice, cool.
I think you did pretty good considering. Once again, you were not prepped for this. This was not like, okay, Kirklin, you have 2 weeks to study up. Like this is just out of nowhere. I just kind of felt like wanting to do this tonight. So
No, I like it. Keep
Nice
them
job.
coming. Yeah.
Nice job.
Okay.
I feel like I need a sound effect or like a little GIF for like the pop quiz, so I can hit you guys with that before I
Oh,
drop
yeah,
them.
that'd be good. A little theme for it. I like it.
So
like
if
a
anyone
game
thinks of a
show.
good one, let me know in our Discord server.
Absolutely.
Okay, moving on. Next topic for the day. Last week, the Nintendo Switch 2 was announced and shown off with a 1 hour long trailer teaser thingy. Well, not teaser, Nintendo Direct, I guess is the specific way to say it. And then there was a couple of Treehouse events. There's a lot more information that's come out since then. And Kirkland, we haven't heard from you yet. What did you think? What's your impressions of the Switch 2? Take this wherever you want. Talk about the games, the hardware. You can, complain, praise it, whatever you want to do. I'm just curious where you're at with it.
Pardon me, trying to clear my throat. I feel like I was really like hands off when like the news was coming. Like I wasn't really like gluing my eyes to the direct. Like I wasn't seeking it out. It's just one of those things where in my household I just kind of accepted like, yeah, we're gonna get the Switch 2 at some point. I'm in no means rushing to get it. I haven't played my Switch personally in like a good while. Shay's the big Switch player in our house, and she's been going so hard on that. Like she's playing Hello Kitty Island Adventure 2 right now. She's been going so
Nice.
hard on that game, and she's like the big driving force for like the want to get a Switch 2. She was the one that was talking about wanting to get it like day one essentially. And yeah, I don't know. I just assumed it's like, okay, yeah, it's just gonna be the Switch but better, and hopefully they just basically fix everything that was. Switch is a fantastic console, but just improve upon what they've already established with that first Switch game. That's kind of what my expectation was. So it wasn't until today actually that I watched the Direct to really like see the details for myself, other than just
Right.
what I've heard from other people. And I must say, like, I was actually pretty impressed by the Direct, just showcasing everything about it. It's nothing like mind blowing for what was shown, but they did basically make quality life improvements to everything that I would have wanted them to. The little Joy-Cons, like they have bigger buttons now. Oh, that's fantastic, because the buttons were horribly small. The joysticks themselves are way better. I'm such a glutton for anything HDR now. Like I feel like it's hard for me to play video games that aren't HDR ever since I got my nice fancy new TV. I just when it's not HDR mode, I just get sad. So the fact that that's come to the Switch too, it's like, okay, nice. I'll be able to enjoy the visuals of the game. And yeah, I like the new I don't know, I think they just called it the mouse function, but just like a little bit of improvements to the just overall just motion control, I guess. And yeah, no, like it's nothing completely reinventing the wheel, but I think they have such a solid just foundation with what that console is, and just improving it and basically every other aspect is I think it's a thumbs up in my eyes. And yeah, there's just been a lot of talks on like kind of price points of what the
Yeah.
system's going to be. I don't know how accurate it is, but I've heard some rumors that it's just in comparison maybe going to be quite a bit cheaper in Japan, and I'm going to be going to Japan this year, so Shay and I might keep our eyes out and potentially get
That's a region locked version though, like it's
oh,
only
okay.
Japanese.
Yeah. Come back and not be able to play it.
I mean, you could buy it and then like hack your Switch probably and get like the English firmware, but yeah, it's only for
Yeah.
Japanese speakers.
Well, there you go.
And like all the games would probably be region locked too, so yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think that's a solution, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah, there. But yeah, I don't know. I was impressed by what was shown, but I'm not necessarily in a rush for it. And
Okay.
looking at the games that were showcased, the big one being Mario Kart, I think it looks fantastic. I think there's a lot of really fantastic modes in there. Modes in there that I would have wished I had access to. Like when I was younger, I just feel like a lot of like the free roaming things that they were showing, not something I would do nowadays, but yeah, like back in the day, I think I would have had a lot of fun just free roaming around these maps, and I think everything about it just looked really, really great. So yeah, overall, I think it's a big thumbs up, but there really wasn't anything that makes me want to like, I don't know, break the bank and just empty my bank account to race out and get it. However, I was impressed, and it maybe makes me a little bit more motivated to get it, but still not enough to really want to get it day one.
Yeah. So I mean, given that like there probably wouldn't be a price drop anytime soon unless it like bombs, you know, which is a possibility, but I'd say like pretty unlikely just based off how successful the Switch was. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think it will be that would push you to want to make that purchase then? Because like,
Yeah.
like I said, the price will probably never drop, and like the bundle with Mario Kart, since you'd probably want to get that game, would probably be the one that makes the most sense for you, even like 2 years from now or something.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily like something that would like be the tipping point for me to get it. It's mostly just like, well, I have a big Japan trip this year, so
Yeah.
try and hold the funds for this year, or just be strategic with what I'm purchasing this year. Both for Shay and I both. I maybe just like more like a new first party release that's a little bit more enticing. I did like what was shown here, but a lot of it also is just kind of like Switch 2 versions of previous games, and those previous games, like some of those previous games aren't some that I've even played before, like the new Legend of Zelda title. I can't remember what it's called at this point
Age of Imprisonment, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah. So I don't know. Just some things like that, and it'll mostly just be, I think, more of a timing thing for us right now. And yeah.
What did you think about Donkey Kong? Do anything for you?
I think it looked really fun. I don't have like a lot of nostalgia or like attachment for like specifically Donkey Kong games, but I do think this looks really fun and yeah, impressive. Shay and I are going to Universal Studios in Japan, where they have like the new Donkey Kong World. So maybe
Nice.
that'll light some fire under my butt for me to want to get a DK game. Just getting immersed in that world. But no, I think it looks really solid, and definitely if I were to get the console like pretty soon, I think I'd be jumping onto that one.
Mm-hmm. And what do you think of the From Software game, the Dusk Bloods?
Yeah, I was really surprised by that. I thought it was just going to be like some sort of like Elden Ring like remastered. Like they did have, I think they did showcase that in the direct also, but I just wasn't expecting like something new. And yeah, it looked really. I mean, I'm so ingrained in From Software right now. I'm going so hard on Dark Souls these last few weeks, so I'm definitely like I think at the peak of my From Software fandom. So like, of course, any like new release by them, I'm just like my attention's being drawn to it. But yeah, it looks really impressive, and I feel like that studio cannot really do anything wrong. We'll see how Night Rain does when that comes out. Not that I like expect it to be bad. It's just such a different type of. It's weird saying that because it's also just like recycling like assets that they've had in previous titles, but it's also like they've never done like a multiplayer to that extent before. So yeah, we'll see how it does when it comes to that. But I think across the board, From Software, they don't miss when they come out with stuff. They had so much like pressure and expectations with the Elden Ring release, and that obviously just surpassed everyone's expectations.
Yeah, I like what you mentioned about Night Rain, because that's coming out later this year, and then Dustblood's supposed to be 2026, so I imagine that would be the next From Software game. And that, like, I don't know if you could really tell from the trailer, but more in like articles and stuff afterwards, it's like that is a multiplayer focused game, like up to 8 players. It's supposed to be like co-op, like PvE, sort of similar to Night Rain in that sort of way. You know, every Dark Souls game has like the invasions and whatnot, and so there is like a bit of multiplayer, but it's like something you can totally ignore, and like I have totally ignored it as a player of these games. But it seems like Night Rain and Dustblood's like you can't ignore that element of the game. Like these are multiplayer games, so it's interesting to see like 2 games back to back from them really going with this a bit of a pivoted focus. But I think if anything, that'll just like whatever that third game is after these 2 multiplayer games, I think is going to be like another huge one. And maybe that's when Elden Ring 2 is ready. I'm not sure. Probably not, I guess, if Night Rain's there. Like, I don't know what they're doing next, if they're going to go back to Dark Souls or whatnot. But yeah, pretty surprising announcement for sure. And I think the multiplayer side of it is turned me more away from it. Like, I don't think I'm really interested in that one, especially when I still have so much old From Software stuff that I need to go back to. Like, everyone's hyped because it kind of looks like Bloodborne. I'm like, I should probably go back and finish Bloodborne like before I invest in anything like this. But yeah, it's cool that they're kind of making that spiritual sequel in a way to Bloodborne.
I thought it was going to be a Bloodborne remaster, honestly,
yeah.
like from the ground up, kind of how they did with Demon Souls, but more for the Switch 2 here. So yeah, no, really surprising. That's another one that I like dip my toes in. Like I probably played like 20 minutes of Bloodborne, so definitely deserve some more time on there.
Yeah, definitely. Any other thoughts for the Switch 2 at the moment?
I don't think so. The little it's funny, they kind of reminded me of Astro's Playroom when they were showcasing kind of like I don't even know what it was called.
Oh yeah,
it's
the
like
welcome tour.
Yeah, the welcome tour.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cute and fun. Yeah, it just very much reminds me of like an Astro Playroom where they're just showcasing the hardware in a more interactive avenue. And yeah, just some of like the chat feature like showcase, like the amount of times that they said the C button on the controllers, and then it would just it's funny because like I've always done like gaming like that, whether I was on the Switch or not, just like through my phone on Discord, but like now it's like integrated through this. And then when they have like just like with is it just called the Switch Cam, like the Switch 2 camera? Is
I don't know. They always have their Nintendo like patented name for it. I forget what it actually.
It just
was,
brings up like your face like on the screen,
Yeah.
and of course like every time like they're just so like just happy on screen because it's like a marketing piece. But
yeah,
I just can't help but chuckle. It is cool that it is like an integrated feature. But I don't know.
That's perfect features if we get into another pandemic, and then it will be perfect. But I feel like I'll just use Discord on my phone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of Nintendo webcams, I don't know, something funky just happened.
I need a Switch 2 webcam. My webcams, I think it's dated at this point.
The funny thing about the camera, like there was so much, because like in early leaks of like blueprints, whatever, of the Switch 2 before we actually saw it, like the C button was on there, and like every podcast I listened to was like theorizing, oh, what is the C button? Like, what does it stand for? Is it the communication button? Is it the chat button? Is it the cast button? Like, is it going to be like you can send it over to your wirelessly to your TV? And it's like the fact that it doesn't actually it's like game chat, like the C I guess is part of the word, but it's like actually just starts with, it's like game chat feature or like game share feature or whatever. Like it doesn't actually use just a C directly. Is very Nintendo funny thing to do. But it also kind of makes sense. Like there used to be, like with the GameCube controller, right? It was like the C stick. It was like the right control stick, but it's like it wasn't quite the same as like PlayStation 2 or Xbox, where it's just 2 of the same analog sticks, and they replaced that with like a regular analog stick eventually. So it kind of makes sense that like, oh, in the bottom right of the controllers, that's just where the C button goes, or the C stick, or whatever it's going to be. If there's anything there, it's C. That's the letter to demonstrate what it does, which I guess makes sense since they have A and B on there already. So just classic Nintendo silly things, but just funny to hear speculation about that for like months, and then it kind of just is sort of what people expected, but also just a weird Nintendo pivot and doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're next week, I'm going to have Taylor on, and we're going to get his impressions on the Switch 2 as well. And then this week there is a Mario Kart Direct. So like, I think it's like 15 minutes or something like that, just all about Mario Kart. So I'm sure we'll get some more fun details in there. And obviously Taylor's been hyped for Mario Kart 9, now Mario Kart World, for a long time. So I'm really curious to hear his thoughts on that. So yeah, more Switch 2 talk next week, and then maybe a couple week break. But yeah, the thing's coming out pretty soon. June 5th. We'll see. Unless it gets delayed, which pre-orders and things have been delayed, but we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Hopefully it still comes out June 5th.
Are you getting it right away?
I think I am.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try to. Been debating it, and it's like, yeah, like the price probably not going to drop at any point in the near future, and like the Mario Kart bundle seems like a good way to do it. I kind of just want to get in there and grab it, and like I might just get Mario Kart and then Donkey Kong, and then just like maybe nothing for the rest of the year or like the next few months. But even just like downloading old stuff and like playing it at higher frame rate and things like this, or looking a bit better. Tears of the Kingdom is a game I never finished, so like getting in there with that new spicy version, play that game, looking a little bit better. The GameCube stuff I'm obviously excited for, even though it's like old stuff. But
cool.
Yeah, like I think I probably will. I know it is very expensive, but like I can't afford it. I kind of want it, and yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for it.
Nice.
And that'll be fun too for the streams and whatnot. I can bring that over if none of you guys have it, and we can play Mario Kart and other games together. So that'll be another good incentive to have it, especially like in June, and then we're doing our GV Day in August there. So that could be fun to whip out some Switch 2 games on there and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot to mention the GameCube expansion. It's funny, like a lot of those GameCube games I have like on my GameCube, but I'm like, oh, but I could be running on my HDR Switch too, like with like
and
Wind Waker,
portably.
man.
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge factor for like maybe not Soul Calibur so much, but like I feel like Wind Waker, that seems like a really great portable game, and you've never been able to do that before, other than like on your Wii U gamepad, so you could go sit on the toilet. But that's like about the limit you could do in terms of portability, unless you had a Steam Deck and hacked your Steam Deck and all that. But legally at least. Yeah. Cool. There you go. There's Switch 2. Like I said, next week we'll be talking about it even more. How about for now we take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, we are back. Let's talk about some of the games that we've been playing. I'll start here with just kind of some updates on some things. So 3 games that I've talked about in the last couple months even that I've now finished. Rolled credits on Avowed, Ape Escape, and Atomfall. I think Ape Escape, I'll be really quick about this one. Just such a fucking great game. I am so glad I went back and checked this weird series out, and then when I'm resubscribed to PlayStation Plus at some point in the future, definitely going to download the next one and keep playing through this series. And then there's like offshoots and spin-offs and also there's so many games in this series, and all of them are old, and I don't know what's going on with them, but just such a fun game. Like I love 3D platformers. Like this game was like a little bit more focused rather than being like big expansive worlds. Like it's fairly linear, but then there's like a little bit of replayability. The creative worlds you get into, like it's just rather than just like classic like jungle biome, snow biome, sand biome, you get some weird freaky stuff in there, like an amusement park level that has like all these little mini sections to it. You get like a Japanese sort of world, an ancient Japanese world, which is really cool. Just a super duper fun game, super weird, and especially like as I just fell in love with Astrobot last year, just seeing a lot of the people that made Ape Escape like made Astrobot, and you can see that influence still with like certain power-ups, which are the exact same as they play in Ape Escape. So it's really fun to go back and see the history of that. And like Kirklin, give any game this tool set: RC car, hula hoop, slingshot, lightsaber. Like that's going to be a great game. If those are the tools at your disposal,
that's all
like,
it's missing is a kick.
All it needs is a kick. Like that is like the perfect moveset for any video game ever. It's just so much fun, so silly, so over the top. So yeah, if anyone's on PS Plus, if you've never played that game or series, love Ape Escape. I'm a huge Ape Escape diehard fan now. And you know what? The camera, not great in 2025, but like it's fine. It gets the job done. It's not as bad as some other early 3D games. So shouts to Ape Escape. Avowed, I don't think I have much to share here. I did finally finish the game. Pretty long game, as was expected. And I talked about it in like the first 2 or 3 weeks it was out, and I was super duper hot on it. I think I cooled a little bit by the end, and mostly because the second half of the game, like this game's all about combat, and the combat is super fun, and I talked to you about that as well, Kirkland, just telling you about my like crazy builds and movesets that I was doing, and the combat remained to be fun the whole way through. I think one of the things that detracted though is that like there was not really any new enemy types in like the second half of the game. Pretty much like you would just get like, oh, you fought spiders before, but now this spider is blue and has more health. Like that was pretty much how it went. And then like in the very final area, there's like one new enemy type that you get introduced to, but like I think that's just, it felt a little stale towards the end. And I think what I realized is like by the end of the game is that combat, amazing, really fantastic. I like the RPG progression, although like in my last few levels wasn't really getting super exciting stuff. but like there just wasn't much else that was super interesting about the game. Like the characters were okay, story was okay. I think it was more interesting early on, kind of tapered off a little bit. Exploration kind of sucks. Like the just maps aren't really big enough, or like mazy enough that you kind of just everything feels a little bit surface level. So yeah, I think it just ended up being a bit of like a middling experience in the second half. But I still had a really fun time playing through the whole thing just because the combat was so good. So I don't know, maybe I'm a little less hot on it by the end. I think it's just kind of maybe is what these like Outer Worlds Avowed. Like I feel like I don't know what these games need from Obsidian to like climb to that next level. Maybe it's just like a little more consistent. Maybe it's just like more shorter and focused. Maybe it's just like more expansive. I think just like a little bit more fun exploration would go a long way in games like this. You just never really feel like you can get lost. Everything feels like kind of railroaded. And I wanted a bit more customization. Like I feel like some of the Outer Worlds customization wasn't really there as much. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what they do if they make another Avowed. Like I'd be down. I'd check it out. Or if they go make Outer Worlds 2 is their next project. But I'm curious to see what they do after that. But yeah, Avowed ended up being decent, okay. Still recommend it, on Game Pass, at least for jump in for a few hours, try the combat out, super fun. And lastly, Atomfall, which I talked to you about, I think 2 weeks ago. This is that rebellion game, very similar to Avowed in a lot of ways, actually. And I think I just wanted to sometimes Kirklin, we're doing these podcasts all the time. We're talking about things multiple times a week. And I feel like sometimes after an episode, I'm like, oh, that was a great episode. We really crushed it. Brought up some great points. I sounded so cool and smart, all this kind of thing. I feel like when I talked about Atomfall afterwards, I was like, I feel like this game's so cool, and I feel like I didn't really sell it in a super cool way. So I don't know. You can be judged of that because you were in that conversation with me. But I really, really enjoyed this game like thoroughly. It was just under 20 hours for me to finish it. There is still other things I could go do, other quests. But I think like the main super strong point of why this game was so interesting to me is just like the way the quests were structured, where you have your classic quest log, but rather than just like telling you exactly where to go, it's just like pretty much notes you're finding in the world or like conversations you're having with people get dumped into like these different, it's not even really quests, it's just more like topics. So you'll have a topic that's like Dr. Garrow is just like one of the characters in the game, and anytime anyone tells you information or you read a note that like is even in some way related to that character, it just like dumps that note in there. And it doesn't tell you like, okay, now that you got this note, you got to go to this point on the map and boom, you're done. It just like assembles all these notes that are maybe related, maybe not. You can kind of glean from it what you will, and to just help you kind of push in directions to like, I got a new idea now. Maybe I want to go to this place or try this thing, or maybe I found a code to go to this area. And then you'll even get like less things that feel less like quests. Like one of the resources in the game are these atomic batteries, and they power certain points in like main quests and other things like that. And throughout the game, like people will hint at like, oh, we saw a robot who typically have these batteries roam off to the north. It was kind of weird. They don't normally do that kind of thing. Or these bandits stole an atomic battery from us, and then they went and hide in this mine. And so you're just getting like clues of like where these batteries could be in the world. And so even though that's like not necessarily a quest, it's just like a fun topic where you're getting all these notes dumped into. And so it made like going through the game really engaging, where rather than just following like one line of quest, okay, I finished that, and then they do this character's line of quest, crush that. It just felt like very fluid, like I was doing one or two kind of steps in one of these quests to push this character storyline along. Then I'm like, I don't really want to commit to what they're asking of me right now, so I'm going to go explore in this part of the world, push this quest along a little bit. And it just like was a really fun like balancing act of like, I don't want to give these characters too much information because I don't know if I trust them yet, and like just going around the map and constantly kind of pushing these quests up, gaining more information, discovering more, looping into other storylines on new characters. It just really, really cool design. It worked really well. And it, it's similar to Avowed in that it's like first person, sort of small open world game where there's like 4 or 5 kind of loading zone, small open worlds, right? But I feel like not to take Avowed down, but like Avowed is like pretty linear progression. Like you start in the first area, you go to the second one, you go to the third one, you go to the fourth one. And this one, you eventually find out like all the maps are connected in like pretty much like a square. And then there's like one section in the middle, and you're unlocking so many different paths and hidden shortcuts or little ways or locked doors to like get in between these things. And it made this like unraveling this mystery and this quest of this huge facility that's in the middle of like having to go in through the facility. And eventually like get blocked off somewhere. So I got to go back in the open world, find another entrance, and maybe it'll somehow connect or open the power to this previous place I was in. Just like super interesting design. I just felt like every step of the way was such a thoughtful experience. And at no point did I have a map marker telling me where to go. So I just like felt like I was exploring stuff and like truly learning everything about this world. So super duper fun. There's some lower parts, like the combat's fine. The stealth is kind of whack, to be honest. I think there's some other things that are just okay about the game, but like overall, like the general structure of it, I found super interesting, and it's even one that like mostly games that have like multiple endings, I will probably never see those endings because I just play through games once. But in this game, I was like at different points near the end of the game, I was making certain save spots so I could go and see how these different things would unravel, and so I ended up doing like 3 or 4 different endings, which was really cool. Really, really enjoyed that. You get some good info. There's still a lot of mystery. Like, I don't know if they're trying to set up like a potential sequel or something like that. I don't know how they would do it setting wise, but I still really enjoyed what was going on there. And then I late in the game, like super duper late, I got bow and arrow. Oh my god, super duper satisfying. Like one shot kill headshots from across the map, felt like a god. Plus the bow and arrows, like kind of refresh ammo because sometimes you can recover the arrow and use it again, which was like such a helpful boon for like all the ammo issues I was having in this survival game. So I really really enjoy this game. I think it's fantastic. It's on Game Pass once again. Please check it out. I think Rebellion really outdid themselves and total pivot, as I mentioned on our last episode, Kirklin, from Sniper Elite. Just something totally different, totally fresh and new. And I hope games like I hope other developers play this and like steal all the cool ideas that this game has in terms of like quest structure and stuff. It's just such a cool game. So there you go. Those are 3 updates for some games I talked about in the last couple of months here.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's talk about blueprints a bit later, but you got anything else early on here? Any other games you've been playing that you want to talk about?
Just a couple quick shout outs. As I was alluding to earlier, I have not really dropped Dark Souls since I talked to you about it last.
Nice.
I've been pretty impressed with my stick-to-itiveness of this attempt at a Souls game. I feel like usually I get into like a really good roll, and then I get bopped, and then I just put it down. I'm like,
yeah.
And then I die horrifically, and then I'm like, okay, put it down. And then I think about booting the game up again, and then I remember where I was at, and I'm like, I don't want to have to deal with that again. So then I just don't go back in there.
Mm-hmm.
But this time around, like I've really just stuck my nose to the grindstone and just been grinding. And I feel like I last time I talked to you about I was overzealous in the idea that I was really close to the end, which I really wasn't. I really was not. I was like probably not even halfway through the game. It was a good milestone, like a good marker. I was talking to a couple other Souls friends, and they're like, yeah, you can call yourself like a Souls player now because you've actually beaten like the main, like the first true challenge boss. And I'm like, oh, so you mean like Tutorial Island essentially is what I just got off of. But no, I've been grinding it pretty hard. I haven't done the Crystal Caves. I was like at that situation, like at that point. Yeah. But then I was like, I don't think I'm ready for this. You scared me away from it a little bit too much. So I figured I could level up my character a little bit, get a little bit stronger before I tackle that. But I can't remember exactly where I was when I updated you, but I've since I think I just finished like Anne Orlando, like essentially last time I was on it, like finished like the Smo and Ornstein fight, got the Lord Vessel, and then since then I've taken out Nito the Gravelord, which that one was horrifying. That was a terrible experience. I was not a fan of that entire sequence. That's like in the catacombs area, where the skeletons like revive unless you have a divine weapon, which I didn't know about initially, which made it.
Yeah, I don't know if I ever did this section of the game. I'm trying. Doesn't sound familiar to me.
Dark Souls 1 is interesting because it is kind of linear, more so than like what an Elden Ring is. But once you get like the Lord Vessel, you kind of have like, okay, these are your bosses to finish the game out, and you can kind of do them in whatever order. At least to my experience, like that's how it seems, at least.
Right.
Especially just talking to other people that have played it. Because clearly you went to like the Crystal Caves before I did, and then I took on the Painted World of Ariamis. Do you remember that one? That one's in
a little
Orlando.
bit.
It's like you need like a doll to get to it.
Right.
So yeah, I did that. I took on the Four Kings, which is in Anne Orlando, or not Anne Orlando. It's in like the below Firelink. So like 2 like big chapters. I felt like I closed out. So I only need. Right now I'm in. Do you remember like the demon like area where there's like a lot of lava? Do you remember that zone?
Yeah.
So that's like where I'm at right now. So I think I'm getting close to that boss, and then after that, I think it's just like Seath the
Have
the
you
Scaleless,
have you seen the big guy? The big guy down there?
Oh, the Ceaseless Discharge. That guy? Is that what you're talking
One of
about?
my favorite boss names of all time. Ceaseless Discharge.
There's so many memes that I've seen like online. It's just like, what a name for a fart.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a lot of dirty ways.
Yeah,
of
I was struggling so hard with that, and then a friend of mine told me like a very very simple way to take that on, which is you literally just like run away, and then you can like one shot him. Which I was so mad when I found that out because I lost so many souls from that guy, not realizing I could just run away. So yeah, that was a horrible experience. But no, I'm trekking Dilemmas. I'm gonna complete a Souls game, and I guarantee it. I feel like I'm getting up there, so I'm really motivated. I'm having so much fun with it. Something too that I'm just getting so engulfed in is just like the lore of these worlds. I feel like gameplay is like number one when it comes to like these Souls games, but like the way that they can tell like or maybe just expand upon like the world building literally through like item descriptions is just so crazy to me, and like how tragic and sad this world really is. Like every character that you come across, you're like, oh, this is a pretty cool individual. Then later on in the game, it's just like you see them again, and like, you know, no spoilers here for someone that hasn't played the game, but like this character is just like they've completely lost their mind and they're just like gone insane now, and you just have to kill them. And I'm like, man, how far we've come from the hopefulness of this game. So really dour, and I feel like that's just an ever consistent thing in the Souls universe. I would imagine, but no, I love it so much. It's fantastic. I love these games.
Hell yeah. Can't wait to hear some more updates on that.
Yeah.
When you finally rolled those credits.
Absolutely. And then the other quick update I'll mention here is me and the lads, minus you. We played some Warzone because Verdansk was back this weekend, and didn't get a win, but man, I did not realize like how much nostalgia I already had for Verdansk. Like when we were just dropping certain areas, I was like, man, like I'm just getting flashbacks to like the COVID era, like when we first were playing Warzone, and just
better times.
It was a horrible time. Yeah, mental health was low, quarantine. It was awful. But yeah, definitely some fun times on that map, and that map definitely carries some just handsome memories in my memory bank there.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I really love that map, and yeah. We didn't win, but I think we had 1 second place. But just being back on there, it was a chills moment. I was glad to be back there. So yeah, we'll definitely have to play that a couple more times before.
Is there any like massive changes to it from the last time you played it?
Like I guess the big thing is just like the new mechanics of like you used to not be able to swim, right? In like the first Warzone, like anytime you go in the water, you would just die. So like you can still swim now. So like that's
I think the last time I played Verdansk, I think swimming was in there because they brought it back at one point. Like they brought like the train in there and whatnot. So there was some new things at one point.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was in like the Warzone 2 era or not, but yeah, like definitely like retextured. Like it feels more modern. I think than what the previous version was. Just the shrubbery looks nice and pretty. But yeah, I think also for me, just because I haven't played like typical Warzone in a long time, like we always play like the Rebirth Island where it's just like fast respawning. It's just like the pace of the games. It took me a little while to like, oh yeah, I just gotta chill. Like there's a little while till the zone closes. Like we have a good position right now. We don't have to run around, just keep shooting people. So
I missed that. I needed to slow down. It's too fast for me.
It took me a few games to really tone that back, and even just like the gulag action. I kind of forgot how fun that can be. With just when last man standing, your whole team's watching, you just have to pop off with your pistol.
Big pressure, yeah.
No, so fun times, definitely, and it's like the novelty is like fresh again. Just even though I've played that map many times in the past, it's like, yeah, nice. This is new to me, even though it's not. So it was a fun time, yeah. And
that's
then
awesome.
like other than Blueprints, that's kind of like the only thing I've really been jumping on lately. I did notice, this is kind of crazy to me. Officially, my most played PlayStation game, and with an asterisk because PlayStation only tracks PS4, PS5 era. My most played PlayStation
College football
game is now College Football 25. Yes. Can you believe it, Dylan Moss? That game's been out for like less than a year now. I've been going so hard. It just surpassed FIFA 15 for the PS4. That was my old reigning one. So a
the
big sports
sports.
fan on my
Yeah.
history of
Does it
games.
say how many hours you're at right now with college?
College football, I'm at 333, I think, and then FIFA was 330, which
Okay.
and like it doesn't incorporate my PS3 like time because that just wasn't being tracked. Like it's only for PS4 and PS5 games, so
Right,
I can't for sure say it's my most played PlayStation game ever. But in the modern era, yes, officially college football, which is crazy because I wasn't even a football fan until this season. That's when I got into it. But
Yeah, the
I've been going
season is
hard.
over, right, at this point?
Yes, in football it ended.
Okay,
in,
and you're still going
February.
strong, so that's cool.
Yeah,
I wondered how
we're
much of
hanging
it
in
was
there.
like, oh, you guys are doing like the weekly whatevers, the draft, the league,
drafts,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. But
It's
that's cool
it's
that
like
you're still going.
and like not fantasy draft, like the actual NFL draft is like happening right now. So I've been following just what my team's kind of been doing
Right.
strategically. So then of course I'm getting excited and buzzed, and then I'll boot it up there, go on my dynasty mode, and do some recruiting for my school. But yeah, no, it's college football, FIFA 15, and then GTA 5 for the PS4. That's my my top 3 on PlayStation there, which is
Nice.
which is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty those are all time sinky games.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Nice list. Okay, how about we take our last quick break of the show and we'll be right back to talk about Blueprints. All right, we are back. Blueprints is the latest kind of random ass indie game that came out of nowhere. No one's heard of it, but now it's like the biggest deal. And everyone's saying it's like the game of the year. It's going to win all these awards. It's front runner, game of the year, all this kind of stuff. And so I was like, wow, I got to check this game out. I was like, oh, it's on PS Plus. Cool. I'll go subscribe to that. Oh, it's also on Game Pass. So it's another one of these. I remember that happened with Sea of Stars, right? Where it was on Game Pass and PS Plus. So these guys are just securing bags left, right, and center through here. So you're playing it through PS Plus. I'm playing it through Game Pass here. It's also on PC if you want to play it there. Not on Switch, surprisingly. I feel like this game could run on a Switch, but maybe it'll get a Switch 2 version later this year. Something like that. So yeah, I feel like a lot of people probably won't know what this game is. So Blueprints, to be specific here, it's blue like the color, and then prince is in like a royal. What's the most efficient way to describe a prince?
Yeah, a royal.
A royal. Yeah, I guess
nobleman.
a royal, a nobleman. Yeah, not blueprints as in like bringing out your architect, your blueprints. Although that's what this game is about. So there's clearly like a pun in the title there. Anyway, this is a first-person narrative puzzle roguelike, I guess is what we're going to call this bad boy here. Essentially, what happens is every day or each run, you walk through the front door of this manor. You are like I guess you're like the grandson, I think, right?
Grandnephew, I think is
grandnephew.
what it said. Yeah.
Thank you. Grandnephew of this guy who has passed away, and he has given you the keys to the mansion, and you can take ownership of this mansion if you find, I think it's the 46th room in this 45-room mansion, right? So obviously there's a bit of a puzzle, a riddle, something you got to figure out there. And so each day, each run, you walk to the front door of this mansion. There's 3 doors, one in front of you, one on your left, or one on your right. You go over, you open a door, and then it will draft 3 potential rooms. You pick which one you want to slap down. You slap that room down, and then maybe that room has another door, and so you can go knock on that door, and it keeps unfurling this way and like making like a huge grid of rooms, or small if you really fuck up and make dead ends really quick, and then your run could end very quickly here. But you're getting different things like bedrooms, you're getting like nooks and kitchens and hallways, and then you're eventually getting like a little bit of weirder rooms. It all still feels like pretty realistic so far from the things I've seen, but you're getting into like, like a boiler room or like a sauna and like some other freaky things like this that all
Screw those red rooms. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, the red rooms. Those are the ones that'll get you. Anyway, that's kind of the structure of the game, and it's a puzzle game. So in individual rooms, like, in the classic early ones is like you'll get into the billiard room, and in the billiard room there's like this, game of darts that's set up, and there's like a little riddle puzzle that you can figure out there, right? And so there's like little confined within each room, there's little puzzles here and there, but then I feel like there is like a much bigger metagame, and I'm still trying to figure out how big this metagame goes of like puzzles that are connected between rooms, or like maybe you're putting rooms in specific ways to like spawn a very specific room that you're looking for. You can even go outside of the manor, and this like kind of takes you out of side of like the different resource management elements of the game, and you can just kind of explore around the house a little bit, and a lot of things are locked, of course, but you can like unlock those and move around. So this is a game, Kirkland, that I've heard people are putting like upwards of like 100 hours or more into it. Not that it takes that long to like roll credits or beat it, but there's just that much depth and that much line under the surface. And I'm like, on day 8 or 9 or something like that, maybe 5 or 6 hours or something. So I feel like I'm still at like the surface of this, and I don't even know like what would be a spoiler for some people, but I just feel
Yeah.
like there's a lot more to this game than I can even understand at this point in time. But anyway, that's kind of I guess a broad description of the game. But how are you feeling about it? And like, I guess how much
Yeah.
have you played? How many days have you got in there?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I'm like day 27. Like I'm
Oh,
pretty
okay.
decent in. I'm like damn
Oh,
well
my
near a
boy.
month. I definitely have mixed opinions on this game, and there is some things I wanted to discuss with you. Maybe might be minor spoilers, just because I want to like ask some like strategic elements of it, and because I think initially the game just sets it up in a very like simple, like easy to digest, like okay, I understand what I'm doing. But then the more you get going, I feel like more gets revealed, and then it's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, I definitely fucked up many ways in this aspect. Like it just the evolution of me feeling like more confident or just getting more tools to piece together this literal puzzle of a game. Like it just comes naturally and like in a satisfying manner. However, there is many instances where I feel like there's just nothing I can do. Like I just get into a
Mm.
situation, and like the game is to a certain extent like RNG based, depending on like
Yeah,
which rooms you get in certain situations. There is ways to
definitely.
kind of like facilitate which ones are appearing in certain ways, and like that's where I was saying already, where when I realized that like, oh, I'm kind of just screwing myself here, like early on when I don't have to be. So like when I got those realizations, it was a very satisfying thing, and I feel like I got like I don't know how much further the game goes after you get to like room 46. I imagine that's just kind of the end of the game, but like I felt like I was like right there like two or three times pretty early on, like definitely like pre day 12. Like I feel like I was right there, and then it's like okay, in the next couple days here I'll probably finish it, and then literally in like the last like week of in-game time, because yeah, I think I'm on like day 27 right now. I just felt like I've gotten like almost backwards progression, where I
Mm.
literally get like a layer or two, and then I just have to like call it a day just because I can't do anything more. So like that's where I just wanted
Mm.
to discuss maybe some things with you, where I just feel like I don't know if I'm just going backwards my progression. Like I don't know if I'm just my strategies that I'm trying to do, it's just shooting myself in the leg, or maybe I'm just getting bad luck of the dice. Like I'm just really getting a bad string of rooms that I just can't really go on with. And I feel like because the game like in a positive sense and in a negative sense, it doesn't necessarily hold your like there's no in-game journal, even though the game like tells you to
Yeah.
like do a journal, which I think is fantastic. Like that's like old school gaming, right? Like when you have like your notepad of
Mm-hmm.
like how do I figure out this temple or whatever. Like old Legend of Zelda games, like that's what it makes me think of. So I do appreciate it to that sense, but there's also aspects where like I wasn't thinking about that in the early stages. So like maybe I come across a room that I really haven't come across again since like those early first like in-game days, and I realized that like, oh, I probably should have taken a photo of a note that I found, and now I
Mm.
just now I just can't find it. So like in my mind I'm like thinking, I'm like, do I want to like just restart my progress from the start? Like there is some things that you do carry over, even though like you do reset day to
Yeah.
day. There is still things that you are carrying over. So like I don't really want to do it in for that reason. But like there is certain puzzles that do compound the difficulty. Like you had already mentioned the darts game. Like I'm pretty sure those just get harder and harder as they go. It got to the point where I was just going like quick maths in my head for like every single one, and then now I'm like pulling out the calculator because I'm like this is
Oh,
just getting
really?
way too extreme. Like we're getting
Oh,
like
okay.
square roots and like stuff like that. Which like yeah, I get most of them like in my head, but like some of them it's just ridiculous the order. Like I'm proud of myself that I was able to figure out at least how to do the puzzles, but then it gets to a point where yeah, the numbers are just getting a little bit too crazy. And then as my name suggests, like the parlor games, which is like probably
Yeah.
like my favorite mini game in the game. Like they're so fun, just like the little riddles. They're very simple. and yet satisfying when you get them. Ones that I think I'm gonna get and I just fail and I open it up, there's no gems. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like I needed those gems for this run. I have to end this day now. Like so that's really devastating, but in a totally fine way. But yeah, just certain things that I feel like, I don't know, like if I, like another thing I'll say is I didn't really use like the map at all like the first week, so I would just be building rooms and then I would get to a dead end and then I'm like, why is this door a dead end? Like I don't understand. Or like, and then I would go back to the main hall and I'm like, why is this door not accessible now? Like I just didn't clue into that for like the first week. So that's of course like if I knew, oh, I can look at the map and then realize that I'm going to a dead end here. Like let's not use, you know, like a turning room, like let's not waste hallways in certain ways.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that strategy I do really appreciate, but I still feel like if I would have knew that from the beginning, and it's part of gaming.
How many hours do you think you've put into it?
I don't know. You said like 5 hours, and I feel like I'm definitely not at that. But my day count is really high.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm thinking. Like I feel like maybe we're just taking a different approach to it. Where I feel like, especially in the first few days, I was like, I'm looking at like every shelf. I'm looking at like every countertop, and I'm like,
I did.
Right, I'm jotting down notes like a insane person over here.
That's the thing too, where like I kind of want.
And a lot of that hasn't even turned into anything yet. I'm like writing notes, and like it hasn't even turned into anything yet. But I'm like, maybe I'll need to know where all these chess pieces are. Like I don't. That's one thing I'm doing. You know, there's like chess pieces everywhere.
Yeah.
Like one of my theories is that like, okay, maybe if you like put all the rooms out such that you've created like a full chess board's worth of pieces, maybe that like unlocks some riddle. So I'm like, okay, there's 2 pawns in this room, there's a black knight in this room. I don't know if that's a thing at all, but I'm writing down all sorts of random stuff. So
I had to do some digging online just because I felt like I was so at a wall. Like I just felt like I wasn't getting any progression at all. And a lot of people were talking about like really pay attention to like every detail like in there.
Yeah.
And that's definitely not something I was doing initially. Like I would just use all the rooms I basically could build to the point that I'm at a dead end, and then I would just end the day. And I would just do that like really quickly. So like I was flying through like days pretty damn quickly because in my mind I'm like, well, I'm just gonna get a good dice roll, and then one random day I'm just gonna get all the right rooms, which I guess technically could happen, but it's really like I'm on day 27. I think like 3 out of those 27 days I got like to the right to the end, and like to the point where I'm like, man, I almost got all the rooms that run. Like I felt so good about it. Like everything was just like lining up. And then the next one I would get like 3 rooms, and then it's just like a dead end. And then I'm like, oh, well that's disappointing there. But
I'm a little bit jealous of your experience here because I didn't really hear about this game until like a couple weeks ago, and then I like listened to a podcast and they were praising it, and like they weren't spoiling anything specific, but like just through that discussion I could tell like, oh, there's a lot more here and I should be paying attention to things. And so like that, like as you said, like a few hours in you looked up some stuff and like got that tip essentially, like, hey, there's more on the surface. But I'm kind of jealous that your experience, that you got to just like completely go into this experience blind and not really knowing what to expect, because I feel like I got slightly spoiled, even though like I didn't technically get spoiled on like anything individually.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's like just a fun little difference in our variation here of like your day count is way higher, but maybe you've spent like less thoughtful time in each of those, on each of those runs, where if I'm like really trying to math things out. But then I've had a couple days too where it's like, oh, this is a shit run, I barely got anything done here. I feel like I made no progress, but like no harm, no foul. It seems like there are a couple things like, one of the notes that I've seen is like, oh, on these specific days, prices are like halved at the commissarium. So I'm like, I kind of want to like build up and make sure I do really well on that day, if that note's even true. There's a lot of the notes in this game are just directly lying to you. Yeah. But like other than that, it seems like it doesn't really matter like what specific day you do things on, I guess. But I'm probably wrong about that. But then it feels like one of those things of like, well, you can't go back in days. So if you're only gonna do this thing on day 8, obviously they wouldn't like gate the game that way. I guess there's just like certain bonuses or maybe detriments if you do things on specific days.
Yeah, and like I'm really curious because I don't think there's like a time limit, right, to beat this game. Like,
I don't think so.
In the little opening video, the guy that died, like the narrator, he's kind of narrating like the opening, basically just saying how he's giving this challenge to his grandnephew here. He says like if he mentions some sort of time limit to it, but like the game, there's no signifier. Like if you're playing Pikmin and it's like you have 30 days until you're fucked. Like that hasn't been said. So I was a little bit worried just as my days were ramping up in that sense. But there's also like so much that I've like just unlocking like really slowly that I'm like, man, if you actually went to like day 100, like I can only imagine how much more suited you're gonna be like on your runs, like just because of certain like you've probably come across some like the upgrade discs. Have you seen those yet?
I've gotten one upgrade disc at this point. Yeah.
See, I've only ever had two, and like I've 27 days, so you get them pretty slowly, but you do get them. So like I imagine if you've gotten to
Have
like
the
I said,
were the
like,
two in
day
the
100.
exact same spot?
No, there was one.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
in a very different location actually.
Okay.
And I won't say it, but
because
the
the area
different
I got my
location-
first one in, I haven't actually had that room again, so I haven't been able to see if another one was there. But it sounds like maybe
Yeah.
they move around or something.
Yeah, so same thing. Like the first time I got it, it was in that room, which I don't think I've seen that room again since. But the other one was in like a very different location that
Okay.
I honestly wasn't even expecting it to like appear in in that game.
Interesting.
I'll leave it at there for now. But yeah, so that's just another thing though, where I imagine if you just play the game so much, like you are just gonna keep getting them because it's for people that don't know, it's an upgrade to one of your blueprints.
Yeah.
And you have many different blueprints, so I imagine you can upgrade essentially all of them. In my mind, because I imagine you could get that in like that first room again, technically just through the RNG element. So yeah. I don't know. There's just a couple different things that are a little bit unclear to me that makes me maybe question like my own strategies because I just don't know how consistent it is in that regards. But one thing I will say in a very positive sense is the gameplay loop is very addicting. like
definitely.
every day that I boot it up and I have my 3 doors, you know, that I'm walking into, and for a while I was always just like, okay, I'm gonna start with the left door every single day. That's where I'm gonna go, and
Nice.
I'm gonna go left door, just try and get my little corner nook figured out here. Especially once I figured out how to use the map and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I don't know, just there's something about like these card games, I'll call it for lack of a better term.
This game's like a bit of a deck builder, right?
Yeah,
At times.
deck
and
builder,
like,
thank you.
As you mentioned, like there are ways that you can like manipulate the RNG of like, you know, adding things into the pool or like removing things from the pool or seeing something and not selecting it and whatnot. I think that's like what's interesting about this is like this game. As you mentioned, like it has that one more run itis to it, like that most roguelikes do, but it's not because it like, oh, the jump is super juicy, or not because like, oh, I'm gonna get this crazy build like Binding of Isaac, or it doesn't have like a great sword slash or something. It's not like gameplay wise super satisfying, but just like the resource management side of it, like, oh, collecting your keys and your gems and your money, and then like keeping track of your steps and being really tactical. And like, I don't know if you do this, but sometimes I'll like open a door just to see what it is, and then I'll peek in it, but I won't actually walk in the door to like take
100%.
the step out of it. Yeah, and then like maybe I'll come back later when I'm like, I really need a key. Maybe that room had a key in it and I didn't see it. Or even if you have like the metal detector, sometimes it'll detect metal even if you're outside the door still, right? So you can like maybe save a resource that way. But like, yeah, that part of it is super satisfying, and it feels very deck builder, and it feels very board gamey. Like I'm sure this game is inspired by like Carcassonne, one of my favorites down on my bookshelf over here, or a game Betrayal at the House of the Hill was a very similar thing where it's like haunted. This isn't really a haunted game, but like a similar thing where you're laying out rooms in a manner and like building out the structure of it. And I feel like that's more where the comparisons go for me, is like board games over video games. But then obviously there's a lot of ways that like randomization and things like that. And I mean, one of my simple pleasures in games, I just love walking through detailed houses. That's why I love like Edith Finch or like Gone Home or any of these like walking sim kind of games. And this game is like very satisfying that, especially when like there's so much reward for your exploration, and like, oh yeah, looking at every object on the shelf might be the clue to a puzzle, and so it makes it like even more juicy to like look around at the different details too. I really like the art style too. It's kind of like cell shaded, pretty simple, but like everything really pops. It looks very board gamey as well, so it feels very tactile. So yeah, like just really, really, it's surprising how much it is like of a one more run kind of game, even though it doesn't have that super juicy gameplay feel.
Yeah, and I think like I said, like the first couple days, well, the first week at least for me of in-game time, I felt like I was making really fast progress. Like I felt like I was just every run I was getting like just so many more rooms, or I was getting that much closer north. And I'm like, man, like this is gonna be a pretty quick game. Like it doesn't seem like it's gonna have. It seems like it's built up for a lot of replayability, but I feel like for my own progression here, I'm gonna get it pretty quick. And then here I am 20 plus days later, and I'm just pissed off, and I'm still stuck at like the corridor entrance. But no, yeah, it definitely has that one more run element to it that I'm feasting on.
Are you going to keep going? Are you going to keep try and finish?
Yeah,
it?
well, that's where I'm like a little bit conflicted.
Because I think now that we've had this, we should also just pool our notes together and try and make some progress
100%. Because that's where I was saying like I'm a little bit conflicted on if I wanted to like restart with just the knowledge that I have from like going into it fresh. On one hand, I imagine it would probably reset like the puzzles in the sense of like you unlock cards in different ways because it is an RNG element, but like the parlor riddles, like I imagine those go in like a set order, or maybe they are randomized every day. I'm not sure.
I would imagine they're randomized, but I wonder if like things like a code on a safe, you know, like arcane games, for example, will like randomize those things between runs.
Right.
So if like you play your first playthrough Dishonored, you figure out what this vault key is, it's like not going to be the same on another run. I don't know if this game's doing that. So you might like right off the bat be able to go up to the orchard and like unlock that gate right away and like have that immediate
See,
progress.
I haven't even done that. like
Interesting.
I haven't even done that
Okay.
in my run, yeah. So it took me like 15 days to realize that I could literally just turn around and walk outside. Like I just did not even think about that in game. And then eventually I like went exploring and then I found all these keypads. So I haven't actually opened anything that requires a combination.
Very, very helpful to do that. So
See, that's what I mean.
We could talk spoilers in a little bit. Maybe like, do you have any other like non-spoiler thoughts? Because I feel like we should just break down a little bit of our questions here.
Yeah, I think spoiler free wise, I think the gameplay is really fun. I like the art style, as you've already mentioned. And yeah, it's just a fun like storyline of like just the set piece of like super rich guy passed away and he just made this house to fuck with his grandnephew. Like
he's got his clockwork mansion over here,
exactly.
room shifting around.
Dishonored 2 set up. So I totally appreciate that, and it makes sense why it like instantly just struck a chord with my heart on just those types of games. I love that setting of just like a place for tricksters, essentially like a grand clockwork mansion, as you said.
Yeah. I think we're probably there once again. Like, PS Plus, it's on Game Pass. It's $35. Otherwise, Canadian. To me, it seems like it's going to be worth that price. I mean, as I mentioned, like there's hours and hours and hours to be found in this thing, and it's really high quality. But otherwise, check it out on the streaming services. And then I guess let's do a little bit of we're going to go 3, 2, 1, full on like spoiler discussion now. At least as far as me and Kirklin have got here. I don't know. I feel like I have a lot of questions, but I'm also like, I don't want to spoil too much, but I want to pull some things together. Do you want a hint for that orchard orchard thing, or do you want to figure that out?
I mean, you can leave it out because I feel like the fact that you're dancing around it and with the amount of days that you're in, it's probably something super easy that I've just completely glossed over.
I feel like it is something you technically could get on your day one if if you got the right spawn of things.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll put it that way.
Maybe just don't tell me that because I do really get satisfied like getting those reveals like in game. Like
definitely.
Like the game does a good job with that. So yeah, maybe we'll leave it there, but I'll prioritize that now the next time I boot it up.
Question for you is like, there's like throughout every room pretty much has like these different really simple paint, like I don't want to call them paintings even. They're almost just like, they're one color, just like pencil drawings of like a tie or a dress or a boat or something. And I was writing down notes because I was like, because one of them is like a tag that has like a 10 on it. And I'm like, does this appear in 10 rooms? And should I try and spawn all the 10 of these? And I was like, a hallway, West hallway, whatever has this. And then like next time I went back to West hallway on another run, I was like, this painting's not there anymore. So those are, I guess, being randomized or like changed around. Like, like I like, should I be writing all of those down, like a description of them? Like, I don't know. Do you have any more info on that thing?
I didn't like really look at a single like I did, but I didn't really like hone in on a single painting until, like I said, I was doing some digging online, and some like a lot of people were saying that like the paintings are there for a reason. So so once I mean,
if they're changing, they got to be, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. So I definitely I don't have the answers to that question, but now I'm going to be keeping my eyes out for them because they clearly are signifying something, and I am curious as to what that is relating to, because like would they be changing with the rooms that I add? Like, if I have a painting and then I build a new room somewhere else, like it wouldn't be changing that painting in my mind, right? Like it would be staying the same.
I guess not, yeah.
So I really don't know exactly. But yeah, I was kicking myself for not paying more attention to that after the fact, because there is a lot of paintings
Yeah.
and they are pretty interesting images, some of them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the maybe surprising things about. And once again, I was like slightly spoiled on this that there's just like there's a lot more under the surface. But for it's like early on in the game, like there's not a lot that you can interact with. Like obviously you're picking up like objects and that's pretty straightforward. But in terms of like there's like the parlor game or like the dart game. But like I feel like when I was going through most rooms, it's like, oh, there's nothing I can like click on in here. And like I don't know if this is like a Sable thing where there's like hidden buttons or something like that to like interact with some of these things. But that's like one of the things I was like kind of surprised by is just like I got into a room and there's a bunch of clocks. I'm like, oh, I want to turn these hands because I saw a hand in a specific way. But it's like, oh, I can't do that, or at least I can't do
Yeah.
it yet, or I don't know how yet. But I think that's like I don't know. I'm just so curious to see like based on these paintings, like where am I going to input like these things that I'm finding out about them?
Yeah.
So a lot. I did get like one hint on the paintings so far, but like it hasn't really. I haven't been able to like contextualize like how that hint is supposed to be helpful. But it was just have you been in the room with like the I don't know how you'd call it, like the fortune teller thingy?
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because he had I don't know if like that would be a thing that's the same between every run is like the first time you input a coin he does like this message whatever, but like I
Yeah.
think it was his second one or something I did he said something about the paintings and comparing it to like some red letters and whatnot, but like I wrote it down, but I'm like I don't really know what it means yet. But
Yeah, see, I had found what he was referring to. It's something that is with red letters on it.
Okay.
I'll say that elusively. But I had found that like earlier on, and then of course like I didn't really think about jotting down what the note was. Like now when I'm going through them, I'm taking photos like just with my phone,
Yeah,
just
me
because it's
too.
quick
Yeah.
of the images there. But then when I heard him talking about that, I'm like, fuck, like why didn't I take a photo of that? So again, that's another thing where I'm like, I want to restart so that I could like look out for that initially, but there's no guarantee I'm even gonna find that room right away because it is random the way that you do get the cards, at least to a certain extent. But yeah, there's a lot of those notes where like I get to a situation and I'm like, oh, I know exactly what this is referring to because oh, there goes my camera. I know exactly what this is referring to because I picked up that note and I remember seeing it, but I can't for the life of me remember every little detail that was on there, and then I didn't actually record it properly like I should have. So, yeah, it's great, like the way that they actually do the puzzling in that sense, where you actually have to like you got to be quick, or sorry, you don't have to be quick. You have to be quick-witted. Like you have to be thinking about just all these different things. I like how the game doesn't hold your hand, but then there's also moments when I'm like, oh, they could have told me that a little bit earlier. But
Yeah.
I think I just I want my cake and to eat it too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing, like, based on that, what it seems like that's maybe a one-time message. Like, maybe it rotates at some point. Or maybe it is just, like, completely random, and you could get the same message twice back-to-back. But, yeah, I feel like they wouldn't really get anything like that. Like, so you have to have taken notes of it. Like, most things you can kind of redo in some way. And maybe there's a way to, like, replay those messages from that guy somehow. I don't know. Like, if you go in, like, the security terminal or something, maybe you can, like, put some code in. I don't know, like, get him to, like, play a certain message. Be curious to see if there's something like that. But like one thing that it seems like the one thing I'm maybe vibing with is like it seems like the outdoor stuff that you're doing is more like permanent progression stuff. And so I'm trying to like really consider like how to solve some of these things. And I've made like a little bit of progress. Obviously got the orchard opened up, but like that's the only thing I've made a couple other steps, but nothing that's like been the solution. Whereas like the orchard, as soon as you get the lock, it seems like that's kind of everything to do there. And then there's, I won't tell you what's there exactly, but yeah, I don't know. Have you done like anything else outside at this point now that you? Like,
I just
kind of
went everywhere that I could. Like there's an area that's really dark that I was gonna progress on. I'm like, oh, I think
like the tunnel section.
I'm like, I think I need some light source to really.
I know. I wondered if it's like a torch or something. Then you like heat it at like the campfire or something, like light the torch. But like I haven't seen a torch or anything that you can light, so I don't know.
Well, because there is some in the tunnel, but they're just not lit up. So I was trying to interact with them or grab them or something. But
yeah, you can't pick them up, hey?
Yeah, maybe it was because it was so dark I couldn't exactly see where I was clicking. Who knows? Because it is like pitch black when you go in there.
And like there's the other thing where it's like one of the rules is you can't bring things from like outside in or inside out. But like if you go inside and like get a shovel Like I think you can like bring that shovel outside, but then like the next day it'll reset and take your shovel away, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if like you could find something in the house and bring it out that would light that up. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm guessing it's
'cause
more like solving a puzzle inside that like lights the torches or something. I don't know.
that's kind of what I've assumed it was going to be. Like when I went in there, it's like, okay, this seems like something I'm gonna either unlock or get unlocked for me, just as I keep progressing through the game. But nothing's come up yet. But yeah, just like the rules really make it feel like it's explaining kind of like the roguelike elements to it, like why it resets every day of like tools that you can't bring tools out of the house because all those tools like regen or or whatever you'd call it. It's like a Souls game almost, you know, when you when you're at the bonfire, everything resets.
Do you have like a certain item, like when you get to coat check, is there a certain thing that you're like, oh, I want to save this for the next round if possible?
Yeah, the code check's interesting because it reminds me of like Deathloop, you know, like when you finally get that upgrade where you can you can keep things the next day. Like that seems like such a big thing. So when I discovered the code check, I'm like, man, this is like this is like a god tier of power now. Like this is really gonna change the game. Every time I've actually put an item in there, I feel like I never get a code check when I need it.
Right.
And then when I do get the code check, I get my item and then I never actually get to use the item, and then I have to like call the day because I either run out of steps or I like one was like key cards. I'm like, okay, like the first time I ever used a code check, I had a key card, never got to use it before I ended the day. I put it in there because I'm like, okay, I'll probably need this at some point. Got the item, and then I just like again I never found like a key card area, and then let's say another day I find many instances where I could use the key card, but then I just never get the code check room.
I wonder if like because I know, or I'm pretty sure that like certain rooms will only spawn under certain circumstances. So I feel like because you know you can like open up your whatever and like look at all the past houses that you've built. Have you done that yet? So like I feel like maybe what me and you should do is like look at all the times code check popped up and look at like, oh, there was like always 2 bedrooms on either side of it, or I don't know what it would be because I haven't like analyzed anything to quite that level yet. But I feel like that's because that's like the fun thing. There's so many like threads to pull on, and it's like, ooh, maybe I have a certain goal in mind, but because of the randomness, I can't really do it. But maybe that's like a way to go back. Like obviously, there's a reason they let you look at past rooms. Most roguelikes don't let you look at like, oh, remember in this past Spelunky run when you died on these spikes? Like, it doesn't really make sense. But in this, it's like, well, clearly you're kind of maybe building. You wouldn't know it at the time, but yeah, maybe code check always spawns in like a really specific spot.
That's a good thought because I definitely like
or maybe it's always in like 3-4 on the map, you know, like in that same quadrant or something weird like that.
Because I glossed over like some of my previous runs, and I was just like, oh, look how close I was in these earlier ones. Like that was the extent of me analyzing my past runs. But that is a good point actually, because yeah, like I remember another game I'll shout out is like Loop Hero, and I remember Loop Hero. It would be like if you had certain things that you're building that were close to other things, it would affect what it actually is going to be coming. So it might be the same with kind of what rooms you're getting access to. So
because I mean, the obvious thing is that like certain rooms only appear like as you get further, like
more north,
I guess higher up, right? And then like obviously there's like certain ones like nooks and billiard hall, like that pretty much always pops up in like the first couple layers. And I don't even know if I guess it probably could pop up later if you don't pick it early on. But if like things are like happening that way, then it must be the same for. Like, I don't know, maybe code check's always on, like, the east side. Like, I don't know. I'd have to look.
Well, like, there definitely is things that are regional active, as you already said. Like the west wing is only going to appear on the west wing. Same thing with the east wing. But something that I really wasn't doing initially was thinking about, like, strategically putting things early on that I really won't need later on. Like a great card, which I'm sure you've come across. I think it's just called Hallway, where it basically makes it so like it'll always be an unlocked door like on the other side.
Oh, left unlocked, that one.
So it's really good if you can save that later on, because as you get more north, the doors become more locked, or just like more frequently locked. So there's been many instances when I'm cruising, I have really good like setups on my cards. But then I just see those keys just trinking away because every single door that I'm come across now is just like it's always locked. So that's where in my mind I'm like, man, if I would have saved those earlier on, because early I would just see it like first card. I'm like, fuck yeah, this is perfect. It's getting me closer to the bottom corner. Let's do this. But that's another strategy that I just wasn't thinking about at all. Like the first like 14 days that I was playing it. Like I was just like speed running this.
Yeah.
to an
Well, that's why
extent.
I'm stoked at what you're saying there, like not the poker, the dart game, and how it's like getting more and more complex. Is like after a while, like doing that over and over again. Once you know the solution, it's just like, okay, now I just have to spend,
Yeah.
depending on how good you are at math, like 60 seconds just doing this every time. Or like every time I'm in the parlor game, I'm like looking at these boxes and like mathing it out. There's only one here, but like it's got to be. I really need those fucking gems. Like
Yeah.
I really need those gems. So I want to get it right every time. And I feel like that as you go on, there's more and more optimization of that, and like, sound like Orchard kind of allows for something else like that too, where you can kind of have a little more guaranteed rewards in certain spots, I guess. So I feel like it's a little bit of that as well, just making things like more and more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that part of it's really really engaging so far. Have you
Yeah.
been in the garage yet?
Yes.
I've had it pop up once, and now I've put the car keys. I think they're car keys. I put them like in the coat checks, and I'm like,
That's
okay, I'm
smart.
gonna try and
Yeah.
find this. But I've only ever seen the garage one time. I think maybe it had gem requirement, so I couldn't like buy it at the time.
It's like 3 gems, or
Okay.
it's 3 or 2 gems. Like it's quite a few gems to get in
Yeah.
there. And then the thing is, though, you get 3 keys if you get in there, like guaranteed.
Oh, nice.
And then
That was
whatever
I
you
was
get
gonna
with
ask
the
you about that.
car-
I feel like keys is one of the few things that I haven't been able to find like a consistent way to like stockpile keys. Like money and
Yeah,
like
it's
certain
tough.
gems and things, but keys seem to be like the I don't know, lowest common denominator when I'm getting my resources.
Yeah, they can appear in pretty much like any room, really.
Yeah, the
like
metal detector helps because they'll just be in like under a table or something, right?
for sure. And then if you find the sledgehammer, so that you can
Yes.
open up boxes.
Super
'Cause
helpful.
initially, I was such an idiot. I was using my keys on like boxes, and then of course I would have
Yeah.
no keys later on.
That's
but
like
then once you
last
get this-
ditch effort for me
Yeah.
now if I can't do anything else.
So if you get the sledgehammer, though, there's many times where there's like 2 keys and a gem in some of those treasure chests. Like you can really find them easily. There's been some times, I think it was the bunk beds room. Like I've had like consistently just finding like 2 keys
Right.
in there, which has been really good. It's really iffy. That was one of my upgrades actually. Is I think it's the storage room where you get 1 key, 1 gem, 1
Mhm.
coin, and then I was able to upgrade it so I get 2 keys now in there,
Oh,
which
that's
is
sweet.
huge.
Awesome.
So yeah, I was going through phases of like never having keys to the point where I would have like 7 keys by the end of my run, like that I just couldn't use because I had so many. But then I would have like no gems, which really
Yeah.
screws you over because there's many times when you need those gem rooms because then you just get stuck with like a lavatory. That's the worst one.
Yeah.
the red dead end bathroom that gives you nothing. So yeah, it's a tricky balance. A lot of that is just about just random chance though. And man, how fantastic are the ivory dices though? You get those rerolls.
Oh, yeah. So good.
Game changer.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you updated upgraded your courtyard, because I'm guessing that stuff is random. Like, was the first thing you had
No.
upgraded the courtyard? Okay,
No,
so I
the
guess
first
that
thing I
is truly
upgraded was the
random.
storage room, and then it was one of the bedroom ones.
Okay.
Which
Because I got an interesting upgrade. One of the choices I could have was it was the courtyard, but I could make it the courtyard, and it was like fusing the corridor and the courtyard into one. So it was like a
Okay.
green yellow hybrid. It didn't actually give you any benefit, like where the other thing was like bonus gem or bonus key, kind of what you said there with the storage room. So I went for the resource, but I maybe should have gone for that, for it just being like a weird thing. But I was kind of surprised to see it like change the name, just because I thought there would be specific things like, oh, you have to do this thing in the courtyard. But that's like, well, do I have a courtyard now, or do I just have the courtyard?
Yeah.
Like, this, I'm sure it would like still count it, but I don't know. I was kind of surprised to see like a weird fusion as one of the upgrade discs there. I'm excited to see more of those.
I had an option for that with my bunkhouse one or my
Okay.
bedroom one. Because the one that I got, it's like it's a regular room. I think you get like plus 10 movement when you get into it, but then
Nice.
there's like this thing on the table, and it's basically like a little mini game where you have to choose which room is actually like the bedroom types. So of course, if you like know the whole category, it's pretty easy because you can just get in there and then you set it up, and then you get that like added onto that room for like that run.
Okay.
So it's just like a little bit of a bonus there. But then 2 of the other options, because when you upgrade them, it gives you 3 options. You choose one of them. It was like it was either fusing it with like a yellow room or something. I can't remember what it was detailed wise, but then another one of the options, it was like basically give me a resource that I hadn't even seen yet. So in my mind, I'm like, oh wow, like there's actually so many things that I haven't even unlocked yet.
That's crazy.
For what was shown here, and I didn't take that one because I'm like, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah,
so maybe I'm gonna be regretting that later on. But I do really love the upgrade aspects to it, as well as the I think it's just the laboratory room. Have you done that one yet? Where you get like an experiment.
Right. I've seen it, but I haven't. I think that might be a gem requirement one. I feel like when I've seen it, I haven't been able to buy it. But so I don't think I've actually been in it yet.
So yeah, you go into like the lab, and then you go on the terminal on the computer, and then you basically get like. It reminds me of Chance Time, actually, in Mario Party, very randomly, where you choose, in Chance Time, you choose which character is going to be affected, and then you choose what the result is. So in this, you basically choose like the start of a phrase, and then you choose the back end of the phrase.
Oh, yeah.
So for example, it would be like immediately, and then it would be, you lose 5 steps, or a more positive one would be like, I get taken to 40 steps, or you could choose like, whenever I enter a red room, and then you do the back one where it's like I gain 40 steps. So
that's cool.
Of course, there's more optimized pairings you can do, and then to my knowledge, when you add it lasts the entire run, or I think if you just go interact with the terminal again, you can deactivate it. But
cool.
Some of them have been like really game changer. Where like the one that I just mentioned, where I think what it is if I pull a red room, I lose 5 steps, but then I instantly go to 40. Which is like, okay, if I'm over 40, it kind of sucks because I'm going to be losing steps. However, maybe if I open up the room, I just won't go into it right away.
And you probably won't find that room until higher up, right? So you're probably already going to be down a bunch of steps.
Unless you get like the boiler room. Have you gotten that one where there's higher chance that you get red rooms, which that run was horrible because I pulled the boiler room way too early. So then like
at the same time, it was kind of nice. I had a couple times to like just get, I think the furnace room, right? That's the
furnace room, yeah.
Yeah. It was kind of nice to like get the red ones out of the way because I think there's only like 6 or 7 in the pool, right?
That is a good point. Yeah,
crush all of them out there. Maybe I was able to like turn off the gymnasium, so I didn't have to get that debuff on there, and I was kind of good to go.
Or like the weight room. I
haven't been in the weight room yet. I don't think.
So the gymnasium, you lose like 2 when you enter, and then the weight room you lose half of your steps.
Oh
so
right, okay. I actually have had that one. Yeah.
If you're at like 6, it sucks.
And you can't turn that one off.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's where you need a bedroom close by to mitigate that. So I do love like the strategy of building the rooms in like a way to like there's definitely moments when you have like the cannon fodder cards that you just want to burn through, you just want to use them
spare room.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I'm sure spare room does something crazy that I just don't know about yet, but
that's just the straight, right? It's just
that's the one that's like just barely painted. It's like white, empty. I've never seen even like a coin in there. Like it's just
it looks like a portal back room.
It kind of does
where the cake is hiding.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's no items in that room ever, but sometimes a locked door. So
there's got to be something that makes spare. I guess if you could upgrade your spare room and make it useful, that would be cool.
Yeah, I wonder what.
Sometimes it's nice to just have a straight shot like that rather than like a weird
Absolutely.
turn. So it can be helpful.
100%.
Have you made anything at the workshop yet? Have you been able to combine any objects?
Every time I've gone there, I've been like wanting to use my items. So no, I haven't had like an abundance in the sense where I want to.
Do you know of any that you were like able to combine, but you just didn't hit like accept? No. Okay. I still haven't been able to find I've only seen that room I think twice, but I haven't been able to find a combination. I should be taking notes of which things don't work so that I know which ones could work. So
yeah, there you go.
Keep that in mind. I just thought of that right now, but that's a useful thing.
Have you interacted with the Foundation?
The Foundation?
Yeah, it's a room.
Never even heard of such a thing.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'll leave it there. It's a very unique room that's way different than other cards. And yeah, no, I'll leave it there. But when you get there, it affects like what you're doing going forward. Yeah. In a certain way, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm. When you said, I only think I have a couple more things here before. Like I don't want to get spoiled either. I don't want to spoil you. Okay, so when you said that you've almost made it to you almost got to the 46th room. Like, do you mean that you've been filling out the entire map and then getting to the antechamber, or do you just mean getting to the antechamber?
So a little bit of both. Like the 2, I'd say 2 out of the 3 times that I was like really close, I was actually like filling it up really good. I had pretty much not missed a cell going up like the whole
Right.
way. And then at the end it got a little bit dicey, and then I got to I think it's called the antechamber. And then like if you didn't know, those doors like they're locked,
they're
like you have to open them up in a
closed out.
certain way. So I got to it, and I just not, or like maybe I opened up the one on the other side, but then I was just stuck on the right side, so then I just couldn't get there, and then I had to end the day, which was really horrible. And then one other time, I basically had only filled up like the west side, like I just went hard right. I didn't get like anything on the left side. And then I got to the door, but then it wasn't unlocked, and then I had not opened it up on.
I have a
on that
couple
bush.
clues of like how to open those.
Yeah, I
walls, I guess.
the one time I had opened up the one on the left side, but then I just
Couldn't
was
get
stuck
there.
on the right,
That's
and that
heartbreaking.
one
Yeah.
sucked. Yeah,
That's heartbreaking.
but I imagine you have to get it all right. Like I imagine you have to get all the doors. And
That's
then
what I'm
get in
thinking.
there.
Like maybe you can get in there. Maybe once you get in there your way, like without doing every last one, like maybe you probably get some good info at the very least.
Yeah,
If you did get there, like, but I'm guessing because of the whole 46th room thing, like I'm guessing you do have to fill out every square of it.
yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe there's also ways to like cheese that a little bit. I'm not sure. There's still.
I
so much to
imagine there's
figure
like speed run ways to do it. I don't know how someone would speed run an RNG game like this, but I'm sure someone will.
Yeah, and I'm wondering too if like somewhere like around the outside of the house, if you can like get a different entrance way and like maybe get a backup, like an extra way if you made a dead end or something like that.
Yeah.
But haven't like I've barely made like I haven't made it through that fence on the left
No, I haven't either.
side, whatever. It seems like there's just an open path there. I'm not sure. You can always see it if you get like one of the green rooms and can look
Yeah.
outside, but haven't really figured it out yet.
Have you come across any other keys than just like the basic keys?
Yeah, I've found the silver key a few times. I'm guessing
Okay,
you've
yeah.
seen that one too. That's
Yeah.
one that like gives you a guaranteed like big
Multi-door room, I
Yeah.
think is what it is. Yeah.
And then I was curious because I one time saw a room that was like you can buy keys here, so I'm guessing that's where you can get some other freaky keys. And I've definitely found a specific door that I really, really want to open, and I don't know what key opens it. And I had a clue, and then I thought I maybe to combine the silver key with another key in the workshop, but you couldn't. I couldn't put the silver key in the workshop thing. You couldn't do that. So I'm really curious to see what kind of. I don't know. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if you've. I don't want to spoil what I'm thinking of right now. Maybe you already know maybe you already know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about, but like I don't want to say.
I got into a spot that I needed a different key than what I had it, which was like it's like a Legend of Zelda big key situation. You know, it's like
Right.
I'm
Major
missing
keys,
the
minor
master
keys.
key. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I've only seen the regular keys, the silver keys, and then I think it's called the green key or like the
Okay.
which
I think I've
I
seen
got in the
that.
same way that I got the silver key, like whether it was in the darts game or something. And then it just it's the same thing as the silver key. It just
Yeah.
takes you to a different type of room. Yeah.
Have you done anything with the pump room yet?
I got in there and I looked around and was really confused, and then I'm like, I don't know what any of this does, so I'm just not going to
Yeah,
touch
I definitely
any
was
of
in there for like
these.
45 minutes, just like, how the fuck do these dials work? Looking at the diagram on the wall, I'm like,
that
eventually
was
this will
gonna
make
happen.
sense. And yeah, it made a little bit more sense.
I knew that was going to happen, so I'm like, I don't want to touch any of these right now, which I probably regret because it probably would have done me good spending some time in there and taking notes and all that. But yeah, because it's like you have the pumps and then you have the diagrams, and then there's like a bunch of lights with switches on the on the wall, but I didn't know what that did.
Yeah.
Same thing with the breaker box. You've probably come across that room.
The breaker
Yeah.
box. Yeah.
And like there's many different functions there. Of course, like the classic is if you get the dark room, like you can turn the lights back on.
Turn the
after
gym
dark room
off,
goes-
which is great. Yeah.
Oh my god, you could do that.
Oh, you haven't done that? Yeah, you can turn off the negative effect from the gym, so you don't lose 2 steps if you turn the
Okay,
lights
that's
off
good
of
to
there.
know.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
what
I've
that
always
does.
seen that as one of the options on the breakers, but I never switched it.
I
'cause
remember
just didn't know what
doing
it
that, and then like, I'm like, why would you be able to turn off the lights in the gymnasium?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it does. And then I remember like later on, I found a note that confirmed that. But yeah, you can
did. Okay.
do that. And then yeah, like the one of the bottoms like scratched out. I think it says like the cabinet or something weird like that.
Yeah.
Right? So I
And
don't know what's
there's
going on with that yet. And then what's the third one that you
The
can-
gym, or not the gym, sorry, the garage.
Right, which yeah, I haven't like because that's I guess
I
it
don't
would
know
be
what it
random because
does.
I've noticed that sometimes the dark room is on or off? Like it seems like usually the dark room
It
is
starts
off.
on and then it goes off, and it's done that pretty consistently for me. I don't know if
Okay.
it does that all the time, but yeah. And then
Right.
you can turn it on, and then there's just like some photos and stuff that you
Yeah.
can look at, and some loot sometimes in there.
Yeah. But yeah,
Um,
the middle part of the breaker box with all the lights. I have one hint written down that I read somewhere, but like it had 6 colors, but like
mhm.
I couldn't select those colors on the breaker box, so I feel like I'm missing something. And then obviously just like the key card thing turn on and off. That's pretty straightforward, I think.
Yeah, I found a note kind of talking about how to switch the colors in like certain ways. I don't know if it's the same
Okay.
note that you're referring to.
That must be a different one. I have one
Okay,
that's
yeah.
like telling me which colors I need to put in which spots.
See, that's the note then that I need, because I was so confused.
We
'cause
have the opposite note. Okay.
Because I figured out how to do it, and then I did it all, and then I'm like, why isn't anything happening? Like what the fuck? And then I probably spent like 15 minutes at that breaker box, like just doing like the pattern to like for what I thought would work, but
Interesting.
clearly not. And then I'm like,
I wonder what that
must be
does,
forgetting
yeah.
something. So
Maybe
yeah.
I wonder if that's I guess if because we're talking about the dark tunnel down there, like it would make sense if you
True.
turn lights on, but also if it's
Yep.
torches, like I don't know if that would. I mean, there's a little bit of magic that's going on in this world, right? So maybe you just
Yeah.
turn a breaker box to activate torches. That's not the most shocking thing that could happen in
Yeah.
this game, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. It's funny, like
Yeah.
the more we talk about this, of course I just want to jump back in there now with the
Yeah.
newfound knowledge that I have.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, any other thoughts or questions that you want to? I think I'm good. You've definitely given me some fire here to go discover
Yeah.
some stuff, which I'm excited about.
One thing I'll mention is as we've kind of talked around, at the end of every run, it kind of shows you like how you did on that run. It'll give you a unique name for the house
Right.
that you built with the blueprints, which I think is really fun. I didn't really clue into it at first, but it actually changes like the shape of what it shows. So like
Right.
in the
yeah.
last couple runs, I've done horrible, and I've only gotten like 2 layers in. I guess it would be like the first 2 tiers, I think, is how they kind of discern it. I don't know what breaks down like a 3 to a 2. I think it's just the farther north you go. But it says like the something bungalow, like the small bungalow is essentially
Yeah.
what I made, because I got like 1 layer in, and then one of them, it was when I got the like the furnace room, and it said the Scarlet Inn, which I thought was so fantastic,
Nice.
because
I had the Scarlet Villa at one point.
Oh,
I was
okay,
like,
yeah, because
yeah.
it was mostly all red, but then I had gotten a lot of bedrooms, so then it was an inn. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool
Nice.
that they have like unique names
So
for
fun.
kind of how I failed on that run, because I didn't get to room 46. But it's I guess it's another thing that's kind of cool to look back on your progress and just your past runs and the different ones that you've made.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this game's super cool. I'm very it's funny. This week I was planning to talk about South of Midnight, which came out just a few days ago on Game Pass. Big Xbox game. And I've played like a half an hour of that, but I'm like, I just want to play Blueprints and nothing but
Yeah.
Blueprints. And then thankfully you hopped into it over the weekend too, so we'd have this conversation. But yeah, I definitely kicked South of Midnight down the road a little bit more there. So maybe next week I'll talk about South of Midnight. But yeah, I can't put this game down. It's got that one more run itis in me, and
Mhm.
it's a weird one, man. Like I feel like with roguelikes, I never. Like I need one of each type of genre. Like Spelunky's my platformer roguelike. Binding of Isaac's like my Zelda dungeon one. I just need like one of each type, and now this is like my like puzzle one or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really great. So I'm excited to play more of it.
It's a different roguelike than I'm used to playing as well. Like usually roguelikes that I played in the past are more action paced,
Yeah,
like
definitely.
really like high intensity gameplay, and this one's just it's got the Edith Finch vibes,
Yeah.
wandering through the house, and some nice music at various parts, like depending on kind of which rooms you come across sometimes. And yeah, I love those green rooms. Those green rooms just make me happy when
So
I open it
nice.
up, and it's just
Yeah.
I'm in the outside all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good
Fuck
stuff.
the red rooms. I hate the red rooms.
Very true. All right, this was a super fun discussion. I love to hear what people in the community are thinking about this game. Let us know. And yeah, like I said, next week we'll be back a little bit later than normal release date, but we'll still be back nonetheless. Thank you for joining me, Kirklin. Thank you for listening. And yeah, we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.